From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Thinking about that bear and how my son was in danger.
A close call in the Beartooth for a father and his 2-year-old son as a grizzly bear charges at them not once, but 3 times. Their warning tonight for us all. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in on your Tuesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. That story in just a bit. But first tonight, winter's early arrival rearing its ugly head for some Montana travelers. The Billings area escaping the worst of it, but other communities across the region still reeling a bit. Take a look. This was a scene in Rosebud County where the snow, low visibility, and slide-offs shut down Highway US 212 between Ashland and Broadus this afternoon. Some Q2 viewers reporting as much as 9 inches of snow in that area. And here's a look at Bozeman Pass this morning. The road turned into a virtual truck stop with bumper-to-bumper traffic, slick roads, and heavy blowing snow. And heading east into Sheridan, Wyoming, a true winter wonderland has more than 9 inches blanketed the ground, with some areas of the Bighorn seeing a foot of snow. Let's now toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Ed, I hear this blast of winter is not done yet, especially for eastern Montana.
The wintry weather is still being felt, Jeanelle, especially in areas around the Livingston foothills and around Forsyth, Roundup, Billings. Well, the snow totals have been a little bit lower. We still have some travel concerns. Wet, heavy snow causing serious travel problems. Power outages around Sheridan for today. Also looking a lot of that wintry weather moving across eastern Montana into the Dakotas, where we've got strong storms. Look at the rain that's starting to come from Rapid City off towards the east. So the warmer air here wrapping that cold air back around, and that dynamic cooling is going to cause areas of blowing and more heavy snow across areas of eastern Montana, especially tonight heading into tomorrow. For areas from Billings towards the west, the snow showers start to wind down during the evening, but they've already lost quite a bit of snow into the mountain foothills in the region. So as this system moves out, we'll be left with some colder temperatures. More details on how much snow we've received and what to expect next coming up with the forecast.
With temperatures dropping, the need for the unhoused population to escape the elements increases, and this could be challenging for Billings homeless shelters. Beds in Billings shelters are already limited, and COVID has turned a difficult situation into something even more complicated.
It just adds yet another barrier for our youth and young adults to have to overcome.
The pandemic has forced shelters like Tumbleweed, which serves Billings youth, to make some tough decisions. And the same is true at Off the Streets, where 16 of the 40 rooms are now being used as quarantine spaces.
So people are seeking shelter even more than they would during the summer. And really on a summer night, our average here is about 45 people per night seeking shelter just for that 12-hour period overnight. So we see those numbers go up in the winter.
There is a necessity for the homeless to have shelter throughout the year, but in the winter when temperatures drop, being outside for only a short period of time can be detrimental.
It's not only are we having trouble keeping places open with the pandemic, but we're having trouble keeping places open because of staffing. So we have to just get really creative about how we're going to be sure our unhoused neighbors have a place to be 24 hours a day, because even 30 minutes out in what is balmy 32-degree weather is not comfortable.
For more information on the shelter's needs, you can visit our website at ktvq.com. In Billings, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Here in Billings, the recent October cold snap has some people reaching for their thermostat dial, only to find that when they turn it, their furnace isn't working. John Dawson, owner of R&T Services here in Billings, told me that in the past 2 days, they've had about 50 or 60 calls for people wanting to get their heat back on.
We wake up, we come in, yesterday morning, and immediately 8 a.m., phones are ringing off the hook. Folks are already having issues, and this is something that we would expect.
Dawson said most of the recent calls were from people with small problems, like particulate matter or other grime that just needs to be cleaned off a sensor. The real test for everyone's heat system will be on day's end of sub-zero temps. To prevent problems down the road, Dawson said the rule of thumb is to replace your furnace filter once a month to keep the system running smoothly. It also doesn't hurt to have a tech come look over the heater for bigger problems.
A lot of this stuff becomes very much taken for granted and out of sight, out of mind, and that's kind of what we want from our heating equipment. but being sure to go and replace that filter, plays a huge role in maintaining the longevity of your equipment. It's a lot cheaper to go and just maintain a furnace and, maybe replace a part from time to time rather than going and changing it out.
A new furnace install can run you between $4,000 and $15,000, underscoring the wisdom of preventative maintenance for those on a budget. And the heating industry isn't immune from global supply shortages. Dawson said in the past few months, some manufacturers have raised their prices by 8%.
We've definitely seen some continued strain in that global supply of stuff there. Right now, it looks like we're set up. A lot of places are really set up with furnaces and ready to go for those change outs. I don't know what that's going to look like in 2 months. That's just kind of the way that things are right now, unfortunately.
Stay warm, Montana. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
A Roberts man has a warning for those of us who like to frequent the Beartooth Mountains. This after he and his 2-year-old son were charged 3 times by a grizzly bear. The pair is shaken but safe, and now has a message for anyone stepping out of their car onto the Beartooth Highway. Here's Q2's Andrea Lutz with their story.
An ordinary day in October turned out to be heart-pumping for Thomas Ryder and his son Connor.
We frequent that area all the time.
Just up the scenic Beartooth Pass, Thomas says the Line Creek Trail is a place they often go. With Connor packed in a hiking carrier, they set off.
We park off the side of the highway up there and we walk down a little bit. There's a snowbank down there that Connor liked to play on. And it wasn't there this time, so we went a little further.
The family has memory after memory here.
We were going to go down there and sit on the shore. I was going to let him just play and do what 2-year-olds do. I probably went another 150 yards, if that. And then this is when that bear decided to charge.
They were met with a male grizzly, likely protecting something.
I saw this bear just charge out of some shrubs.
But after that encounter, it wasn't over.
I turned around and I headed up the side of the mountain just as fast as I could go.
3 different times, Thomas says the bear buffed up and charged, but the proximity to him and Connor kept getting closer.
He said, "There's a grizzly bear, Daddy. We got to get out of here." And in the process, he lost his green Paw Patrol hat. So there's a green Paw Patrol hat up there. And he was pretty concerned about that. He held it together really well.
Thomas has been hiking in these mountains since the 80s and never thought he'd have to have bear spray or a handgun. But now he says, take it from him, always come prepared.
If you plan on going out, you better be prepared. Have a pistol, rifle, have your bear spray, and just don't have it on you. Train with it.
And now that he knows grizzlies hang out at his favorite trail, he says maybe for now, he'll give that spot a break.
Yeah, I'll keep going up there. I'll probably give Line Creek a break, but I'll be going up to other areas up there.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Another big jump in COVID-19 numbers as the state reports more than 2,200 new cases over the last 4 days. Now, Yellowstone County with the most at more than 450, bringing the county's active case count to just below 3,300. Montana also reported 15 new deaths over that same time period, bumping the total number of Montanans who've died from the virus to nearly 2,100. 489 COVID-impacted patients are hospitalized tonight.
The Teton County, Wyoming coroner releasing new information this afternoon about the death of Gabby Petito. She's the 22-year-old woman whose body was found last month along the border of Grand Teton National Park, a case that has gotten national attention. Dr. Brent Blue said in a news conference that Petito's body had been outside in the wilderness for 3 to 4 weeks before it was found on September 19th. The coroner also releasing the cause of death.
The Teton County Coroner's Office is following the following verdict. In the manner of death of Gabrielle Lenora Petito, we find the cause and manner to be death by strangulation, and manner is homicide. By Wyoming state statute, only the cause and manner of death are released.
Laundrie is wanted on debit card fraud charges and has been on the run for nearly a month. He's not been charged with homicide, at least at this point. I'm Russ Riesinger reporting for MTN News.
Still ahead on tonight's MTN 530 News here on Q2, we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with a husband and wife duo who's proven a lot of hard work creates a recipe of success.
The MTN 530 News continues right after this.